Anila Singh of the BJP is now joining us. We are expecting a Congress representative soon as well. But I think Abhishek Manu Singhvi has in fact given the viewpoint of the Congress party. Its state association is also one of the petitioners against the case. Ratan Sharda of the RSS and Champak Kalita of the AIUDF General Secretary. Kapil Sankla is senior Supreme Court lawyer who's joining us. Let me go across to Ratan Sharda first up. You heard what Abhishek Manu Singhvi said. He said that everybody who's religiously persecuted should be allowed entry via CAA. I know that the government has said exactly the opposite, and the argument against that also is that everybody is not on the same plane when it comes to giving this very focused, limited amnesty to refugees of a certain religion, persecuted on the basis of religion, and who have already come to India till 2014. How do you respond? Because this is the biggest argument that is used, that why not allow all persecution, all people persecuted?
Shivani, I have the luxury of not being politically correct. And I do not need to pull punches. India was partitioned on the basis of religion. Dr. Ambedkar at that time had said that there should be exchange of population, otherwise the problem will remain festering. Secondly, Nehru Liaquat Pact about what? That they will take care of minorities, we will take care of their minorities. It did not happen.
True.
Now, what is the view of people? I'll quote some of the things. I can't quote too much, there's not much of a time. Mahatma Gandhi in July 1647 said, the duty of adjoining province on the side of border will be to accept them with both arms and extend to them all legitimate opportunities. Then he said, poor Hindus who will migrate owing to repression will certainly be accommodated in India. In November 5, Jawaharlal Nehru assured in Parliament, there is no doubt, of course, that those displaced persons who have come to settle in India are bound to have citizenship. If law is inadequate in this respect, the law should be changed. So, having an Islamic country of their choice, today to cry persecution being minority within minority is not acceptable to us because they chose. There is huge cost we paid for that particular Islamic country, a third one which has become Islamic now. So where do the minorities give? They've been wiped out totally.
Yeah.
You know what happened in Afghanistan, you know what is happening in Pakistan. Every day there is atrocity news, Bangladesh, every day atrocity news. Where will those people go? So when the partition was a religious ground, when people are being persecuted on religious ground, law will have to be in terms of religion. Secondly, there is second option still available. Have we stopped migration with us? No, sir. The earlier law of granting citizenship is still available. So why are people saying we have been discriminatory? Third, who are the people who are fighting the CAA? Congress, TMC, Muslim League, RJD, MIM. Look at the company they have. We have electricity for Rohingyas in Delhi, but you don't have electricity for Hindus in Delhi. The same refugees. We had 1 million Hindus rotting in Jammu Kashmir for 70 years because they did not get citizenship there, neither here nor there. And if you look more at people, then there was Gulzari Nanda, there was CPIM, there was Manmohan Singh, there was Tarun Gogoi. Everybody said that please accommodate our unfortunate Hindu refugees. Having said this, why are they going on that? Law will be tough, law will become difficult, but to add it on to NRC and say this is not right, that is not right, when entire base of persecution of people is on ground of being minority, Hindu, Christian or Sikh, then how can you say your law cannot be minority?
So you are saying that if you bring up the case of Ahmadiyyas or for example Shia minorities, they don't sit on the same plane for them to require a CAA-like legislation.
Shia Ahmadiyya played great part in getting India partitioned. Let us not forget it. I have respect for them. I have sympathy for them. But it is like, partitioning of a parent's house, taking another part of the house, then saying, oh, that house is not good enough. I want to come back. So they have to pay the price for that.
The point is that even individually, even if from these countries, an Ahmadiyya persecuted individual or a Shia persecuted individual wanted to make India their home, that option is available to them. Nobody has been barred. I say this because when the CAA first came out, this was one of the biggest things, or possibly a misinformation that was spread, or it was, people believed it. They thought that would be the case, but that isn't the case. Shouldn't we revise our position on CAA? And that's why I talked of consensus. But you mentioned the company of the people who have objected to this legislation. Let me bring in Champak Kalita of the AIUDF. The centre has also gone on to mention very clearly the exceptions that have been made for northeast regions, and they've justified those exceptions because they're saying this is based on historical lessons, etc. What is your objection to the CAA when it hurts nobody in India, certainly no Indian minority?
In English, मैं हिंदी में बोलूँगा. देखिए, सबसे इस पे दो चीजें आपको देखना पड़ेगा. एक नेशनल परसेप्शन में और एक रीजनल परसेप्शन में। सबसे बड़ी चीज है जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मैटर है, ये जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाएगा तो ये खारिज इसीलिए हो जाएगा कि ये सबसे बड़ी बात है कि भारतीय संविधान ये अलाउ नहीं कर सकता कि भारत में शहरियत मिले, सिटीजनशिप मिले, उसके लिए क्राइटेरिया रिलीजन हो। ये सबसे बड़ी चीज है, मतलब ये कभी भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट अलाउ नहीं करेगा। आप इसको माइनॉरिटी कर दीजिए, कुछ अलग कर दीजिए, अलग बात है, परसिक्यूटेड पीपुल कर दीजिए, लेकिन भारत में सिटीजनशिप, शहरियत मिलने का मयार कभी भी मजहब नहीं हो सकता। ये कभी संविधान का जो सबसे बड़ा कोर्ट है वो नहीं मानेगा, पहली बात। दूसरी बात, ये आसाम के लिए अलग है। आसाम में आपका 1979 से 1985 तक 6 साल एक बहुत बड़ा आंदोलन हुआ, और उस आंदोलन को स्टेट, इंडियन स्टेट के साथ एक अकॉर्ड हुआ जिसको बोलते हैं असम अकॉर्ड, असम चुक्ति, असम समझौता। तो इंडियन स्टेट ने असमीज कम्युनिटी को कमिटमेंट दिया कि ये है आपका डेडलाइन 1971 25 का मार्च से पहले, बाद में जो आएगा वो फॉरेनर्स है, पहले जो है वो यहाँ रह जाएगा। लेकिन ये CAA उस कमिटमेंट को ब्रेक कर रहा है, इसीलिए असम में इतना रिएक्शन था उस समय। अब भी है, अब टाइम गया है, लेकिन मैं आपको बोलता हूँ चीज यही है कि दो चीज, एक भारत का संविधान या भारत ऐसा एक स्टेट नहीं बनना चाहता है कि इसका सिटीजनशिप का मेयार रिलीजन हो, और दूसरा
गवर्नमेंट ने जो आज कोर्ट में बोला है वो ये बोला है कि सिटीजनशिप के जो रूल्स हैं, जो एग्जिस्टिंग रूल्स हैं, उसमें कोई बदलाव नहीं है। ये एक बहुत नैरो, फोकस्ड और लिमिटेड एमनेस्टी है एक सर्टेन सेक्शन ऑफ पीपल के लिए, और ये पार्टीशन की बहुत स्पेसिफिक हिस्ट्री की वजह से वो क्लास ऑफ माइग्रेंट्स और रेफ्यूजीज इंडिया एक्नॉलेज करती है, पार्टीशन के बाद भी एक्नॉलेज किया था, और अब भी जरूरत है एटलीस्ट टिल द 2014 कट ऑफ डेट दैट द गवर्नमेंट हैज डिसाइडेड। बट आई डू वांट टू से दैट ऑन द इशू ऑफ द नॉर्थ ईस्ट, on the act exempting specified areas of Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura as included in the 6th schedule, the government, or the inner line as it is mentioned, the government has said that these specifications or exclusions have been made on tangible material, historical reasons and the already prevalent classifications and cannot be said to be discriminatory. But I want to bring in Kapil Sankla on the prominent point that Champak Kalita is making, that no sub-classification even on the basis of religion that grants citizenship retrospectively or otherwise can be made on the basis of religion. Do you think that opposition alone is going to be heavy on the entire CAA Act?
I honestly don't think so, and I've already spoken about this, and I'll tell you why. Because I think the narrative that has been said is incorrect. It does not give citizenship and it does not take away citizenship. What it basically does is, to a certain segment of people, it fast tracks citizenship. And that is nothing new. When you look at it internationally, I mean, imagine this, that there would be a political refugee, any country will probably fast track citizenship for him. America does it. When you talk about brain drain, highly educated people, well, certain countries accommodate them, fast track citizenship. When you talk about, for example, people who have the money, they can 10 crore or 2 crore or 4 crore. Certain countries fast track citizenship. What you're saying is that there are minority refugees who we allow to fast track citizenship, looking at the conduct of the country from where they are seeking refuge from. And that's something that every international country all over the world does. I said America does it. It fast tracks citizenship when you're a political refugee.
But on the basis
or
of religion,
because of
Kapil Sankla?
XYZ reasons. What we said. That's exactly what I'm saying. What you're basically saying is that there is a religious minority which is in 3 or 4 countries. Should they seek citizenship, we can fast track it. It does not open up citizenship for them, dehors or disconnected from other religious groups. It just fast tracks citizenship, and that is the difference. So the narrative that is being said that, the Muslims will not get citizenship is incorrect, because according to the Act, the Foreign Act, there is a waiting period of, I think, 7 years. The citizenship is still granted. What this just says is that it fast tracks it to, I think, 5 years or 4 years.
Yeah, even that has become infructuous, no, Kapil?
And that is
because the deadline was till 2014.
Yes, you're.
So now I don't know on what basis was it going to be opposed. Because already these people, have been in India for many years.
And that exactly what I'm saying. So it actually takes care of past events and not a subsequent act.
Yeah.
And therefore, as you rightly said, that even that argument is now infructuous. So I really don't know what kind of narrative is being sought to be created by the side opposite.
So can I ask you a focused question? The government, I think, has very importantly also reminded the court that, listen, there is a limited scope of judicial review here. And from what I understand, you can correct me, unless a law can be deemed unconstitutional, the courts cannot strike it down. In this act, what is the scope to prove CAA unconstitutional?
You're absolutely right. You see, there are 4 pillars of democracy. Media is one, judiciary, executive, and the legislative. The democracy, yes, the legislative. The democratic system is that not only you do not have a adventure in encroaching on somebody else's power, but you also respect the different pillars of democracy. And therefore, the government, being the legislative, having come up with the law, unless and until said to be undemocratic, cannot be challenged. In this case, there is nothing undemocratic that has been shown or against the constitution. As I said, the narrative that is said that the right of the Muslims is being taken away is incorrect. It just fast tracks it for a certain minority groups internationally. That's it.
Okay, so you don't think there's anything unconstitutional as far as this law is concerned?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I think Mr. Kalita wants to come in. Can I just listen to him for 30 seconds, then you can respond? Yes, Champak ji?
देखिए मैडम, यहाँ मुस्लिम इंक्लूशन, मुस्लिम को भी वहाँ लिस्ट में नाम लगा, वो ये वाली बात आई नहीं है। यहाँ बात ये हुआ है कि हम ये इंटरनेशनली ये मैसेज नहीं दे सकता है सुप्रीम कोर्ट कि भारत में सिटीजन का क्राइटेरिया रिलीजन है। आप उसको अगर 14 का है तो आप ये आइन बनाइए कि 14 तक जो परसिक्यूशन होके लोग आए हैं उनको हम सिटीजनशिप दे रहे हैं। इसमें रिलीजन का क्या काम है? इसीलिए ये अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है, ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट पे इजीली उठ जाएगा।
अच्छा, I want to go across to our BJP representative.
भाषा में रिस्पॉन्ड कर दूं?
हाँ जी, कपिल जी बोल दीजिए।
एक लाइन में सिर्फ बोलता हूं, मैं इन्हीं की भाषा में बोलता हूं कि सर, पॉलिटिकल रिफ्यूजी ऑल्सो रिलीजियस रिफ्यूजीज होते हैं। अगर किसी देश में पॉलिटिकल कारणों से, जैसे पाकिस्तान में हो रहा है और अलग देशों में हो रहा है, एक सर्टेन माइनॉरिटी जो वहां की माइनॉरिटी है उसको प्रोसिक्यूट करा जा रहा है, तो कोई देश उनको शय दे सकता है। हमारा देश भी वही कर रहा है। तो इसमें कोई अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल या इलीगैलिटी नहीं है। सर, जब मैं आप बात कर रहे थे तो मैं सुन रहा था, अब आपको मेरी बात सुननी पड़ेगी। आई एम सो सॉरी सर, व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग सर, अलाउ मी टू फिनिश। You can go on and on, sir, but I do this professionally. As I said, just let me finish. तो जब आप एक आदमी को पॉलिटिकल रिफ्यूजी बोलते हो, पॉलिटिकली किसी आदमी को या किसी ग्रुप को अगर रिफ्यूज चाहिए, तो कोई भी देश अपने दरवाजे उनके लिए खोल सकता है। वही हमारा देश भी कर रहा है। अगर पाकिस्तान में 14% से 1% हो गए, 14% से अगर 1% हो गए हैं,
these are special circumstances. Let's not forget that these were all countries and regions of undivided India. There's a specific history here. We are not doing this for for Japan or for China or for US or for UK. We have a certain responsibility in the subcontinent. We signed the Liaquat Pact on that. If Pakistan and Bangladesh didn't stand true to their promise, India as the basic motherland of these countries has a responsibility. And the partition also happened on the basis of religion. We would all like to... Champak ji, ek second, mere upar mat boliye. We would all like to live in the utopia where religion doesn't matter, but let's not forget the partition did take place on religious lines. It didn't take place just on geographical lines. Please, let's accept that reality. I've limited time now. 2 of my guests have not spoken. Advocate Mahima Singh, I beg your pardon, from the Congress has joined us belatedly. I've run out of time mostly on the debate, but I'll give you a couple of minutes. And the larger political question is, Mahima ji, how will those parties opposed to the CAA justify it to people who are till today being prosecuted, converted, illegally abducted on the basis of their religion in countries like Pakistan? You have a social responsibility here.
Shivani ji, thank you for having me on your show. Apologies for being late. There has been a technical glitch and unfortunately we couldn't help it. Finally, I'm able to contribute here to the debate and your question is apt. And my point here is that, no, nobody is opposing guaranteeing their fundamental rights to those who deserved it rightfully. But then why are we being biased? Does our constitution provide for this bias? Does our constitution justify this bias that we see in this law? There are 6 communities that the law is providing for. The Citizenship Act 1955 was very clear. It was clear and it had an equal, prejudice, or it had an equal consequence for all the illegal migrants. However, the Citizenship Amendment Act that has come now, the 2019 Amendment Act that we see in the current form, provides for 6 communities from the 3 countries as the government
but
put it in the
don't
affidavit
these
also
6
today.
communities
However,
need greater protection? You're talking about bias. Can I just say something? Prejudice is one thing, bias is quite another. Now, there is a bias that exists in these countries against these 6 communities and members thereof. Then there obviously will be a bias in the protection and the amnesty these 6 communities get.
All right, but we're talking about the Indian citizenship and the way it is to be granted to the illegal migrants who came to this country before 2014. And why are we cornering one religion out of that? Aren't those also equally rightful of gaining
because
that
these countries are Islamic nations,
as are the other? I'm saying that why are we? It is clear violation of Article 14, Article 19, Article 21, Article 25, Article 29 of the Constitution.
Okay, fair enough. I've run out of time. You've joined us a little
government
late. I would have liked to delve into this, but I do have to give Anila Singh some opportunity to respond to everything. Anila Singh, you've heard to the opposition that is being made to the CAA. It's a long-standing stance of several of the petitioners. They're basically saying that, one, there is some sort of an agenda that the BJP has in bringing in this legislation. And it just goes against the grain of our secular democracy. हम ये कर ही नहीं सकते कि आप religion को एक बार बनाइए.
जी, मैं राम to everyone. Better late than never. After all, my turn has come. See, I'm not at all surprised. I'm not at all shocked the way Congress Party is behaving in today's date. Whether we talk about CAA, whether we talk about Article 370, or we talk about Ramlalla Mandir construction, they had stood like wall in between. And every time this wall had been crushed and crashed by Bharatiya Janata Party or the supporters of people who totally believe that yes, this is one country, the majority population should have right what is correct. And Bharatiya Janata Party has always stood very strongly with it. If we talk about the Congress Party, can they deny this fact? Can they deny this fact that yes, today, like they are saying, that demographic balance bigad jayega, constitution ke khilaf hai, like in 1947, इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस इन द डिक्लेरेशन डॉक्यूमेंट घोषणा पत्र में इन्होंने अखंड भारत की बात करी थी और जिन्ना ने बात करी थी पाकिस्तान की. और आज की सरकार अगर ये कहती है कि अफगानिस्तान से, बांग्लादेश से, पाकिस्तान से अगर यहाँ पर हिंदू, सिख, बुद्धिस्ट, जैन, पारसी, क्रिश्चियन जो वहां पे प्रोसिक्यूट हो रहे हैं उनको हम फैसिलिटेट करेंगे, वो भारत में आकर अपनी नागरिकता ले सकते हैं, तो दे हैव गॉट अ ह्यूज प्रॉब्लम आउट ऑफ इट. Because this is the same political party. If we talk about after partition, those are people who went into election on the ticket of Muslim League. They won the election and they didn't go to Pakistan. वो सारे के सारे कांग्रेस पार्टी में आ गए और नेहरू जी ने उनको कांग्रेस पार्टी में इसलिए रखा था जिससे कि जो हिंदुत्व मानसिकता के नेता थे कांग्रेस पार्टी में उनको कंट्रोल करके रखे. So this is the psyche of the Congress Party. They are against Hindus.
Okay.
I have to leave it at that. Classic example of twisting the narrative. Classic example of twisting the narrative. And it's shameful. Shameful. Unconstitutional. Unconstitutional. Unbecoming of the government of India. Unsecular.
No. Even I am secular. And my party respects all religion. But if you are going to say that yes,
that shows in the conduct of the party, that shows in the conduct of the ruling party today. It is unconstitutional, it is unbecoming. It is highly unbecoming of a government that was given the mandate by the public of this country, trusting that they will protect the fundamental rights of the people of India. Unfortunately, those are the very people that are coming in between the fundamental rights of this country, the constitution, the democracy, and their own agenda.
I think you should go and check your facts, and you should check the history of Indian National Congress Party. 11th October 1947 जिन्ना से इसकी आबादी के आधार पे हम जनसंख्या की अदला बदली कर देते हैं. 12th October 1947 नेहरू जी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करते हैं और कहते हैं कि नहीं बिल्कुल अदला बदली नहीं होगी क्योंकि पूरे विश्व में हमारी बदनामी हो जाएगी. दिस इज व्हाट
this
Well,
give you a right to
unfortunately, I've run out of time, ladies. I look forward to having you again, and I do thank all of our guests. But that